What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Komaris, and for today's video I'm going to be giving a breakdown of Lady Sweet by MYSS HOUDIE. And before I get into the whole breakdown of this album, I want to first talk about my introduction to MYSS HOUDIE. So initially I discovered her during the Vibe Studio Jackson residency campaign on January 26, 2025. I was there assisting with, doing the shoot and content for the campaign for the residencies that will be going on for the year 2025. And Miss HOUDIE was preparing to have her residency at Vibe Studio Jackson in July. And this is where she did a performance for her album that she released titled The Illness. And it was a really great show. I remember coming a few days after attending the Cowboy Carter show, and you know how they be like, once you attend a Beyonce concert, this and that, every other concert or show is not going to hit the same, this and that, which is something I highly disagree with. But that show really showed me why I disagree with that, because if the artist is truly good at what they do, they're good at what they do. You're not looking at them with the rubric of what Beyonce has done, this and that, and having the same expectations as Beyonce, because they're not Beyonce, they're themselves. But attending that show and listening to that album live, I was just like, this is something different. Like no other artist, respectfully, in Mississippi has made me feel like an emotional connection to their creations the way that she does. And that alone made me a fan.
On this microphone like it's coming home with me. Get up on that beat, commit that birthday in the first degree. I'm on the street. I let the beat go. Who's the that's me? I'm a certified G. You gon' search to find me. Ain't not on this microphone like it's coming home with me. Ain't not on this microphone like it's coming home with me. Who's the that's me? I'm a certified G. You gon' search to find me. Ain't not on this microphone like it's coming home with me.
And later after that, I also ended up doing set design for a Calisippi show at Vibe Studio Jackson, which was supposed to be a connection of Mississippi and California, because Westside Boogie was supposed to be performing there, but he stood us up. That's how that went.
They used to be a father and you good for the nigga. You show them how to holler about the things that you want and the things I do wrong, but you don't never call yourself on the phone, man. If you ever heard yourself, you would think you was a crazy nigga too. I bet $1,000 you'll deny that soon. And if I had a dime for every time that you cried when I cried, may not be a broke bitch, no lie. I bet I'll be caught dead in the ditch outside. Oh, I ever apologize to you niggas. You lame ass nigga. I mean it to the full fucking letter. You loud. I mean it to the full fucking letter. You bow. I mean it to the full fucking letter. I hate you and I mean it to the full fucking letter.
This opportunity then led me to becoming the set designer for the Lady Sweet live show, which is for this album that I will be doing a breakdown and analysis for. And yeah, let's just go ahead and get straight into it. First song, Lady in Black.
Take it off, I'll break you off. Show you something you ain't never seen before. This camel pro, catching all my angles. Don't shoot like a way I make you work me out. Black is my color, you should let me wear it out so you can see me come home. Man, have I gotten carried away tonight? Anywho, let's find somewhere we ain't supposed to be, and shit.
I said that this song is basically like an introduction track to who Lady Sweet, aka Miss Houdie, is, and she's demanding attention. Hence the first line being all eyes, all ears when I enter the room. And, she's making her interest with this song, of course, and basically setting the tone for what's about to come as you progress through the project. And she is about to show you something you ain't never seen before. Um, at least from her, when you go back to like previous projects, she hasn't been as, I hate this word, but vulnerable, also transparent, and also showcasing a more soft, feminine side of her. And something that I really love about this song is the arrangement, specifically in the choice of instruments and how they are really like implemented. The dramatic slow intro with the snare drum pretty much cues the dramatic reveal, and then she goes straight into her lines, all eyes, all ears when I enter the room. Um, and my favorite lines from this song would be, "Black is my colors, you should let me wear it out so you can't see me coming." And arguably, black is not a color, um, but more so an absence of light, depending on who you ask. But this plays into the level of mystique that she carries, and also because you literally don't know what's coming or how to define it due to her being hard to see visibly. And it also plays into like the name itself, um, of the song itself, "The Lady in Black," and it makes you like question like, okay, she's the lady in black, but what's her name? Like, who is that? And throughout the project, she's letting you know who the lady in black is. This is also in relation to how what she's about to deliver throughout the project will be unexpected in a sense. There will be more singing than she's done before. Um, More personal topics will be addressed, and again, there will be more elements of femininity throughout this project. Two, we have B.A.N, which is an acronym for And I said that this is the first song on the project where she begins to reflect on a series of events of betrayal that has shaped her into being so closed off due to said person or people taking advantage of her innocence and trust. She takes the blame for some of the things she permitted to go on. I view that as her basically just being so strong that she never wants to be viewed as a victim, even if she really is. Relatable. But she also hits on the fact that people often pretend that these things didn't happen, or act as if they're unaware of the impact they've made on her. With her lines where she says, "I know you're unaware," and this is basically her talking about how their actions led her to a few counts of possible self-harm, and wish I had a privilege of a nigga to forget some. Because it's very easy for men to be like, or pretend like they don't know what happened, or things didn't happen that way, in a way, sometimes not even pretending that they forgot, or act like they never knew like something happened, or the things that they did actually had a cause and effect. Like, they do things and just be like, that was just that. But yeah. What I love about this song is the background vocals. In the beginning, there's like a skit going on in the back of like an argument, like you hear glass moving and all of that. And I just wonder, like, where did that specifically come from? Like, was that original content, or was that taken from somewhere else? Um, I also love the way she changes from first, second, and third person. To me, that really showcases how passionate she is about this topic and how badly she wants to address and obtain the attention of everyone to finally hear her out. My first favorite line from this track would have to be, "The illness is contagious," and it's basically like a possible intentional callback to her previous album, The Illness. And my second favorite line would be, "Hollering around a jacket just to hide that I was starving," because felt. I mean, recently, I just did a dance video, and I was like, I can't do this dance without my jacket because I'm too skinny. And that's something that I've struggled with a lot growing up, especially like when doing dance videos. And it's been happening like a lot more recently, like ever since 2020-ish. Like I feel like I can't dance without, or really like show up on social media without my jacket due to insecurity of my size. I'll be like, I want people to see that I actually can dance and I don't need the jacket. Like, cause in dance, like they be like, the more clothing you wear, especially in hip hop, the better it makes your moves appear or looks like you can dance. But I look a lot much better dancing without the jacket. But I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I do like have troubles with eating and stuff like that, especially due to the job that I was working that I'm no longer at, affecting me mentally. Um, Once I get in a certain mental state, like I completely forget about eating, especially when in survival mode. But I definitely connected with that line a lot because I haul around a jacket a lot just because I want to hide the fact that I'm starving. And most of it is, well, I wouldn't say most of it is intentional because sometimes I just really genuinely forget to eat. But yeah, another favorite line of mine from this track would be, "Trying to hold the rope myself so I ain't have to ask you for advice on how to kill that." And this is basically identifying another attempt of, self harm, obviously. And it's also highlighting like the hyper independence and trying to showcase how much she doesn't want said person in her life. And another favorite line from this track would be, "You could be a satellite, a microscope, an MRI, a telephone. You could even make a clone of me. Strip me of my clothes, get up close and under onto me. You can be my ghost and know the ins and outs and folds of me. You can look through planets from the sun to the moon. In the deepest of lagoons, you can drain every ocean till it drip the last drop. There is no spot and no world from here to God where you could ever understand what I am and what I'm not." And that itself, that whole flow itself gave me chills during my first listen because it just really like shows the passion of like, you think you know me and you don't. And that whole line basically to me sums up to be, "Even with you infiltrating my space as someone that I thought that I could trust, with all the things you've picked up during that time, even after you taken advantage of me, you still don't know me in the many layers that lie within me. You only know the pieces of me that I shared due to me hiding layers in fear of instilling every ounce of trust onto you. And even with the things that I've shared with you, you still don't know because you pretend to forget because your focus wasn't really on getting to know me and understanding me. You just wanted to gain my trust to take advantage of me." And my last favorite line from this track is, "Pain is the reason that my future ain't my past." And this is basically like a beautiful and unique way of simply saying that this won't happen to me again. And which comes from like having pattern recognition and also just simply being fed up to the point where like, this won't happen to me again because I won't allow myself to be open up for any opportunity of people with terrible intent to take advantage of me, even if that takes avoiding love. Third track, we have Precious Cargo. I said this is basically an anthem for the people like us with an avoidant attachment style. Speaking of how sometimes it's the moments of insecurities, fear of uncertainty, and fear of being mishandled that causes you to remain guarded. And the precious cargo is symbolic for her emotions and feelings and the personal lore that's being stored and carried around with her protectively. What I love about this song is just the song in its entirety. It's a very beautiful song. The approach, the arrangement, sonically is just a beautiful song. And something that I also love the most about it is the whole symbolism of the precious cargo and what it stood for. And when it came to me doing the set design for the Lady Sweet live show, the cargo was really the main thing that I knew we had to get in. Everything else was pretty much centered around that. My favorite lines from Precious Cargo would have to be one, I hardly let a person plant a seed in my garden. And I relate to this line in this song a lot because sometimes I am very guarded, jaded, and in some cases unintentionally bitter. And this makes me not want to give anyone a chance to get close to me or allow myself to get close to anyone, rather it's platonically or romantically, just to avoid disappointment. Because I am someone who doesn't necessarily have high expectations, but I believe that my expectations are very specific. And in most cases, I expect things out of people, and I don't even want to say that I shouldn't, but I have expectations and they aren't met a lot of times. And it disappoints me because there's so many things that I would give up and do and be willing to learn about other people to, you know, please and satisfy them. But not many people has done that for me. And it saddens me. And because that I picked up on this trend of me always getting the end of the stick and always being the last pick, this and that, and the forgotten, I'd rather just avoid love, period. So nobody gets to plant a seed in my garden because they really don't stay long enough anyway to even watch or allow anything to grow. I end up always prematurely having to lift that up before it even grows roots. My second favorite line from Precious Cargo would have to be, I am a woman that works in the darkness, and to the people that love me, I'm flawless, but really, I'm just an angel with her wings still folded. And I love how the delivery of this line makes me envision a Disney evil witch who's really a sweetheart underneath the mean and hateful act that she tries to portray. It's like when you finally get to learn the lore of why the Disney evil witch is the way that she is. My third favorite line would have to be, love like mine weighs more than an ocean. And this basically is her knowing that she loves hard, and sometimes this love that she has can be unbearable due to, how hard she comes behind it. And also just how being someone that loves hard makes you feel unlovable, and in a sense just makes you avoid romance in totality. And that's exactly where I stand with that as well. The last favorite line from Precious Cargo is when she says, "Don't love me, don't want me." And it's just like before even letting the world make you feel unwanted, going through experiences that make you feel unwanted or unneeded and unloved, you pretty much beat them to it by not even looking for it or accepting any love unless you provoke chances at love, if that makes sense. Like you don't allow people to come up to you and, try to pursue you in acts of being forming a relationship. You rather do the out seeking. But as of now, it's just like nobody. Leave me alone. I don't want no relations with nobody. For the fourth track, we have Rock Your World.
I'll make you, 'cause it ain't no sweat. I take you, 'cause it ain't no bet. I'll rock your world. I'll rock your motherfucking world, man.
And I said that this is basically like a slight reclamation of power. And it's like a break from the sadness. But I actually love and would have preferred for the project itself to be just completely mellow in a sense. But that's just me being a mellow head. Like I love, you know, to feel. Um, but yeah, I said that it's a break from the sadness and how it kind of like how her like having this break kind of highlights the way avoiding people sometimes deflect their emotions, and it gets misunderstood as if avoiding people get misunderstood as people who don't address things, this and that, but they actually do. They address them, but they don't allow them to have like full control over them. Like they don't feel them too deeply. It's gonna get addressed, but they won't allow themselves to linger there. And what I love about this song is how it has like a funky old school sound that basically like makes you want to dance. And yeah, for the fifth track we have Doctor Who.
Let me find a little forgiveness, 'cause I hate the way that I'm living. If I make another mistake, just let it go from a different place. 'Cause I don't wanna be back on the table with another pain keeping me stable.
I really love the guitar string shrieks. Um, it basically made me think of like the saying where they're like, "You're pulling at my heart strings like a guitar." And that's usually like a negative connotation, but in this sense, it's positive because anything causes your heartstrings to be played with when you're an extremely emotional person. And like I said before, the procedure that Doctor Who is going through is basically um a heart procedure. That's what I find it out to be. And I'm kind of just making this observation now, but she's clearly the one, although she is a doctor, somehow she's the one on the table. So this also shows like doctors need doctors too. Like although I'm here to do the fixing, um I need to be fixed on too. I need people to be there for me and to help me also. So that's also the difference between um Lil Wayne's Dr. Carter, where he is the doctor and he's doing all the work and making the calls, this and that, to helping make other people feel better. Doctor Who is more, in a sense, showcasing that doctors need help too. I need help too. I need love too. But yeah, this song also has like the most lines that I actually need an explanation from Miss Houdie to really gain an understanding of what's actually being said outside of what I believe is being said. Um, yeah, it's a very deep song, and I love it deeply. My first favorite line from Doctor Who is, "Nurse, would you hand me the forceps?" And she's basically like saying, like, I know this is your job, but I want to do this myself. I feel like I'm the only one that knows how to fix me because I've been the one doing all the fixing on myself for so long. Like, I've never really had a chance at trusting anyone else to do the fixing on me. You have the tools, just give them to me and let me do the work. And that's kind of like symbolic for like having a community now and still not really like using them to, well, not using them, but allowing them to help you in the ways that they are supposed to. Instead, you want to be the one to do everything yourself because that's what you're used to. You're used to being stood up, people taking on things, roles, and not fulfilling their promises and pretending like they didn't know this was required of them, this and that. So to avoid all of that, it's easier to just be like, I handle it myself. And although you are the doctor, doctors need doctors too. So when you need that help, sometimes you just gotta take the back and accept it, allow it, put trust into others, and not let the past keep you jaded. Second favorite line from Doctor Who is, because I wear my feelings like makeup and I try on different faces till there's one that I can't fake. And as someone who has a terrible job at like hiding their facial expressions, I felt this. The face tells how you truly feel, and in this case, she's actually not okay, even though she's really good at playing it off as if she is okay. A person that genuinely knows her will be able to pick up on the fact that she's actually dissatisfied and she's pretending to be something that she's not. She's actually not okay, but for the sake of time being and not wanting, to depend on others, she's gonna pretend like she's okay, even though she's not. Because sometimes it could be like, I don't think people have the capacity to help me, but even if they did, they more than likely won't. Third favorite line from Doctor Who is, give my affliction a new name and make it have nothing to do with love, because I'm trying to make room for a new thing. Nurse, can you hand me the new pain? And she's basically like saying that she would rather deal with hurting from something else than to be hurting from love. And that's so real. Like, I could deal with pain, like pain is nothing, but specifically, I don't want to deal with, you know, the troubles that come with, being in love. And even as someone that's like avoidant and having avoidant attachment style with love, like sometimes it'll be like, I just rather avoid a relationship, period, or any type of, you know, connection, human connection. Just even though like it hurts a lot of times, and to experience loneliness, this and that, it does hurt. To me, I look at that line as like, how you can compare being hurt from, a lack of love, and also being hurt from work. Like, I'd rather distract myself with work and the hurt that comes from doing the work, instead of having to deal with like the pain that comes from, pursuing love and it being unrequited or just completely unsatisfactory. That's a different kind of hurt. And I'd rather deal with, the struggles of the world and other things that I can control, like work and stuff like that, than to deal with a hurt like that. Because even though we're avoidant, we do love hard and deeply. And, to experience, in some cases, which in most of my cases, unrequited love, is a different kind of pain, and it's mind boggling. As she said, give my affliction a new name and make it have nothing to do with love, because I'm trying to make room for a new thing. Nurse, can you hand me a new pain? I would rather struggle and feel hurt from any other thing than love. My last favorite line from Doctor Who is being loved by someone is being loved by God. And initially I was like, I don't understand that line. Like, um, God's love cannot be compared, this and that, like it's unmatched. But I was taken aback by that line, again, because I was viewing it from my jaded perspective also of love instead of what love is ideally supposed to be. And also with this line basically like being low key hyperbole, I would say. Um, but if done right, love may be the closest thing to God. And, we all have our own interpretations of what love is and can be. And just so happen my personal view of love, I had to stand or step outside of that to understand this line. Because when it comes to love, I am a little bit more, jaded and standoffish. But I had to step out of that and look into like the way that God views love and other people may view love. The sixth track is Let's Bounce.
With a reward look on your face, girl, pick your feet up. And don't you move on nobody else's approval. Don't be afraid to let that monkey hang low. Wind it up real slow. If there's something that you want, then gonna get it, girl, gonna get it.
And I said that this is basically another dance break track. Personally, my favorite one. And it's about getting up and dancing and getting lost in the music instead of standing on the wall. Um, and what I love about this song is the intro. It can really be compared to Dirty Diana by Michael Jackson. Hear me out when you listen to the intro of Dirty Diana and then come back to Let's Bounce by Miss Houdie, and let me know if you kind of see the connection too. But yeah, entirely it's just a groovy song and I mess with that. And my favorite line from it is when she's like, let that monkey hang low. It's so funny to me every time I hear that line because I'm like, you too young to be talking about some monkey now. But it's so funny. And I love it because it does like go with the actual sound that she's going for on this track. The seventh track we have Smoke in Cologne featuring Chevalier. You get all the cream off my fingers like it's this song is basically speaking of the feeling you get when you and your lover depart, and after, y'all spend time together with each other, their smell basically lingers on and around you, and this allows you to feel their presence through smell. And what I love about this song is the duet. Both of their sounds go together really great. I also love the concept of the song because it showcases her in a less avoidant light. She's addressing the fact that she doesn't want him to go away and how she keeps him in memory through her senses when, he actually does have to eventually leave. I attended a school called Bailey APAC, which is like an advanced academics and performing arts complex school, and a lot of people at that school was very creatively inclined, and that's where I met Chevalier, the artist featured on this song. And to see him still doing creative work even in the midst of adulthood, and with how hard it is out here, especially for Gen Z, um it's very inspiring to see someone that I technically grew up with, you know, continue to do things to express themselves creatively. Um, like I always be amazed and my heart smiles when I see my classmates, you know, doing good and still like pursuing um creative works even in the midst of, like how serious life has really like gotten for us. So that I did really like love to see, and I'm always inspired to see my classmates doing their things. The eighth track we have Almost Loved.
My elders, they had this sin and singing, but I can't recall the name. I think they called it Almost Love or something. It ain't quite love, but it's so far from nothing. You already got me. You already got me. You know the words, I know that right. You already got me.
And this song to me is basically about being in a senseless love, a love that makes you completely rid of the societal standards of love and basically forces you to creating your own standards for what love is and what it means to you. During the first few listens, um, this was definitely my most favorite song for a while. Um, I really love the dramatic start that it has. Like it doesn't really like start, like you don't really hear a line until like nearly a first full minute into the song. It just has, and also it just has like a very escapist energy to it. Like she says, like, just let me wrap your arms around your pretty waist and let me take you higher. Um, basically, basically, which kind of insinuates like using the love as an escape from things in reality, the labels, the four standards, made up limitations, and all of that. Like, let's just fly away from all of that. Like, I don't even have to have an understanding of what this almost love was. Just let me take you, and let's fly away from what society wants us to be and follow. So, my favorite line from Almost Love is the first line. And it's where she basically says, I thought love was a growing thing. So how is it? I've only known you 4 or 5 minutes and I'm already feeling all the growing pains. And like I said, basically like society puts these limitations on us. And with this line, she's talking about like the time limits on how long it should take for you to fall in love with someone and do what lovers do. But everyone's minds and bodies are completely different with different desires and needs that require um, different time periods for when they're supposed to take action on love. Everyone has like this, um, we're gonna stay together, like getting engaged, like how long it takes for you to propose, this and that, getting engaged, and then you have like a year until after engagement to get married, this and that. But it's all made up by society. Like everyone has their own specific like calling to like how their love is supposed to go. Like there shouldn't be no set time limit. Like everyone should have their own personalized timeline for how they should approach love. And it's not necessarily about time. Like that's man-made. It should always be about feeling and acting on that feeling. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why a lot of the love is unrequited, because people are attached to time and also more avoidant of, their feelings. They don't want to be hurt. So instead of like acting on their feelings, they avoid them because they feel like it's too early to be doing this, or too early to be doing this, or maybe even too late to be doing this. And that's so wrong. Like that's not how love is supposed to go. And for the final track, we have Sweetness.
If they ain't like mine, I think I might be on my third one. 'Cause all these bitches, they start to take their clothes off. And that is just the way that I like mine. If they ain't like mine.
And I said this is technically, an exit track where she reclaims her power again and steps back into the role of a lady pimp. And she reintroduces herself as Lady Sweet, aka Sweetness. That's what they call me, as she says in the song. Sweetness represents the swag and aura that just oozes off of her and makes everyone flock to her and latch under her control. Um, I really love the placement of this track because of the context of the song. Basically, like I said again, she has now reclaimed her power and gone back to the tough Hoodie that we all know from previous work. And yeah, she started off the album with, being the lady in black, very mystique. Who is that? I want to get to know what that is. As you go and progress throughout it, people still lack understanding of who she is, or she feels that way. And instead of allowing them to define her, she, at the end, with sweetness, be like, hey, I'm Lady Sweet. This is who I am, and this is why I am the way that I am. I am the lady pimp. I am Lady Sweet, and everybody wants the sweetness. Even if they don't know, like, what it is, they want it. They want me. But yeah, very, very, very great album. Um, I'm still really obsessed with this album. More than likely, it is gonna be one of my most listened to bodies of work on my Apple Music and Spotify replay, because I just love it so much. Like, I can't just I can't just listen to one song off of it. Like, if I'm craving to listen to one song off of it, it's either gonna be like one song on replay, or I always eventually end up like listening to the whole project like it's my first listen. But yeah, really great album. I love how it pretty much made me feel seen when it comes to my take on love, in ways that I've never experienced before. So to experience that from an artist that's actually local, a Mississippi artist, um, was beautiful. To have that representation from someone from my home state. And yeah, definitely, definitely check out the album once you get a chance to. So now I want to talk about my top three. So I'm gonna start off with saying, like, all these songs speak for me. And if I were ever like asked to pick a song that would express my stance on love, I'll choose one, if not all of these. So I'm gonna start off with like an honorable mention, which would have to be Almost Love. Like I said in the beginning, Almost Love was my most favorite track on the album, especially while listening to it while it was unreleased. Just like that dramatic intro, it like gives you so much time to think and recollect like all the past events that lead you to feeling the way that you feel, and you just reflecting on those moments, and it puts you into like a mental space before listening to it, before getting like the first line. Like, you put in the mind space of like, I can't believe like all these things happened to me, and it has made me have this take on love, this and that. But yeah, beautiful song, but it didn't make my top three because I've just so happened to grow closer to other songs on here. And starting out with that list, we're gonna go with number 3, which is Precious Cargo. Like I've already expressed before, how that song basically became like the mood board for um the set design that I created for the Lady Sweet live show. Like I listened to that song specifically on repeat while doing the mock up for how I wanted the set design to be. And everything pretty much centered around like the cargo. Like I wanted the cargo to basically like represent, the heart and having all those emotions and feelings, memories packed up in that. And initially I did want it to be like functional, as like her possibly going through it and pulling out things that could possibly, you know, showcase this is me. Basically like showcase like the things that, made her be the way that she is, but that was cut out due to, like it kind of being impractical in a sense. But yeah. 2, we have B.A.N, aka bitch ass niggas. And this song puts me in a mental space of like, really being angry, being jaded off of the past events that have made me have this take on love, platonically or romantically. Like it gives me a chance to like reflect on like all the things that have happened and why I'm so angry and why I avoid love and things of that nature. And I've never had a song like that in its entirety to speak for me in that way. So that's why it's my number 2. But for number 1, we have Doctor Who. Like I said, this song is me. Like this is the number 1 song. This song is me. As someone who wants to, I'm very hyper independent, especially um now in life. Especially after giving myself to God, like I've been experiencing so many events that have shown me like you don't have to do this alone, and you can rely on other people. Like God has been placing people in my life for me to rely on, and in some ways I don't take advantage of that or show appreciation for that because I'm so used to doing and figuring out everything on my own, or feeling like nobody wants to really help me, or if they do help me, it'll be thrown in my face later. So I appreciate this song for that because it made me realize like you gotta rely on these people. Like you gotta let people help in ways that they can. Like you're not here to do life alone. And in some ways we all like have this whole thing where like, well, maybe not we all, but sometimes like me personally, I be like, I'm gonna do everything alone. Like I'm gonna do life alone, this and that. I'm never gonna find love. I'm never gonna be in love, this and that. Even like growing up, like I had a hard time like keeping friends and stuff like that, and it made me like real jaded when it came to like love, especially platonically. Like I never wanted to get close to anyone because I knew like this time will pass eventually. Like this time will expire. Like I never felt like I would have people in my life for an extended amount of time. And I always felt like the least that I interact with people, the more I keep them away from me would be like my best chances at keeping them in my life longer. And life recently has been showing me that that's not true. And there's people that love me so much, friends that have loved me and shown up for me so much without me having to, in some ways, show acts of desperation and stepping outside of my body to show up for them in ways that they don't show up for me. Like, I've experienced less unrequited love and more requited love, and I'm very grateful for that. But I do still have my struggles when it comes to like letting people know like I need help, and I'm not understanding this and that because of the fear of it being thrown in my face. And in some ways, I also don't want to feel like a victim. I don't want to feel like I need pity. And in a lot of ways, which is crazy, I've talked to one of my friends about this. I even have a hard time asking God for help. Like, I don't want to bother God most times with my issues. And I know that's very, very crazy. It's a very crazy way to think, but that's how I think. And I've been trying to get out of it. It's very hard to like get out of something that, you pretty much been living in all your life. But it's something that I'm willing to work on. And this whole project itself has really like made me make so many observations on me and my perception of love to the point where it's made me be more open to love. Mainly platonically, not necessarily romantically, but platonically, yes. And also while working on this project alongside Miss Houdie and the team, like being able to trust in people to do what they say that they're going to do, this and that, being able to share my ideas and concepts and getting, actual feedback and also like critiques, this and that, without there being any, overly emotional or aggressive people and stuff like that. And also being trusted to do what I do was a very beautiful experience. And I just want to say that I love everyone that I worked with on this project, and how I can't wait to like do more work that feels this way. But yeah, um, kind of started rambling at the end, but that's what I do. I am a yapper. This is my comfort zone. But yeah, very beautiful project from a very beautiful artist with a very beautiful heart. And she's letting everyone in on her perception of love, things that have, happened to her while she is the way that she is, the fact that she can be soft and also be hard. And yeah, so if you haven't, take the time out before even watching this video. Well, at this point you've watched it, but if you haven't before, now I would really encourage you to check out the Lady Sweet album by Miss Houdie. And I promise you, you will not be unimpressed. All right, that's all I have. Thank you all for your time. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm out. Drop $30. Hope that shit lasts. Sure that day after next in the mile we spin the block, the city trends, and we drop $20. We spin the block, the bigger, we drop $30. Hope that shit lasts. Sure that day after
wrist dollars, I'm ballin', I'm rich or whatever they call it. I can feel the weight of my wallet all day. I think I ate my last hot pocket. Guess I can't hit a pot topic. 10 for gas and 5 for a biggie bag, biggie bag. I think I might need a bigger bag for my school books. A brand new hoodie and the coke in the cooler. Ooh, I gotta get that, damn, I gotta get that, cause it won't be here when I get back. All $50 gone just like. The block to see trends and we drop $20